Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, la la la.
Yeah, we are a little overtired after all the traveling. And then we've been doing a little hiking in the desert. We need to hike more. I love being out there. I really do. I find inspiration at looking at rocks and gravel and trails. And it's my brain is always thinking, what was really here 300 years ago, 500 years ago? What was really here 1,000 years ago?
Talk about not being in the moment. Ha ha ha.
I know, right? Well, yeah. I will say that the air is just pristine. It's so clean, so clear, and the skies are perfectly blue. They took pity on us today. They didn't chemtrail, which is wonderful. I want to thank everybody, Patreons. We couldn't do it without you guys. Your support as well on YouTube with the membership. Thank you for your uh, thank you for your patience with everything as we are working on a tiny little a tiny little laptop that I could barely see anything on. So it is challenging, but hey, we're doing it and we're enjoying it and we're reconnecting with family that we haven't seen in literally years and some family that we've never seen, like a brand new baby.
Indeed.
It's a blessing. This is a blessing. Chronogenesis. Ooh, this sounds good. The Chronogenesis Cycle Book 1, Kindle Edition by Duncan Matthew Reed. Just want to point out this is one of our family members. This is also one of our Patreons. So I want to just point out to you guys if you want to check it out, it's available on Amazon Kindle. And, it's just so awesome because they said a lot of this was inspired by our videos.
Was it that nice? I mean, I like to inspire people. We've inspired a few people in really profound ways, and that's a blessing. I'm glad.
Pluto has 5 moons, an atmosphere, weather, and geology. How is that not a planet? Yeah, this is going to be fun stuff. Oh man, I am just retrospecting as a person I guess would be apt to when you hit your 6 O's and you're looking at the little ones knowing your time's limited. It's all about how do you best set things up for the ones to come, the ones that are going to grow in to the spots that we leave when we move on to another world. And, I really feel like that's our focus now. And in more ways than one, we've been trying to do this for 8 years as best as we can to make people aware of the conditions going on the planet. It's going to be a real test, trial, and tribulation, any way you look at it. And I don't think humanity is losing this battle. I think it's winning, honestly. I think it could have been so much worse than it is. I think they're having a really hard time getting the negative doom and gloom scenarios to manifest. It really feels like they're struggling and they're losing power. And the sun's doing its thing to try to help us. You have a major X class. We have an X 1.8 solar flare. Erupts from active region 4274. CME was produced. This is exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. It's been a while since we had an X class. And, the one thing that seems true is that everything is amplified at this point in time. So be aware, chances of bigger quakes go up, volcanic activity. We were just, sitting here and twice I felt something. Cindy felt it too. But, we haven't been in an earthquake zone for a while. So when you get the little rumbles and all, you get used to it.
You notice for sure.
When you're first back, you notice. Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, this is exciting. On X 1.8, the sun is the bringer of information from the true God, the true creator, the one source. And the sun is a relay, just like, the neural synapses in our brain. It's triggering our DNA. Our DNA is always open to being updated, upgraded. Get your downloads here.
Very, very important to get that sunshine.
It is, and we have spent so much time out in the sun. It's been wonderful, but boy, does it tire you out.
It does, and we know people who are the same way. They spend a few minutes in the sun and just a few minutes for them, and they are wiped.
Yeah, Elon wants to regulate the amount of sunshine too, and he says they can do it with technology, and they could just nudge the amount of sun that we get to be just perfect. Yeah, hands off. I trust the real source.
I do too.
And shoot, there we go. We have another blackout situation or system failure when it comes to the Schumann. It's been going on for 12 hours as of this update over here. This is on Disclose Italia. Again, yeah, the Schumann has been giving us some wild swings. And yet, really, right now, it's relatively quiet. Quake wise, 196 quakes the USGS is showing in the last 24 hours. The biggest one is over here in Kamchatka. This is, again, that area that we've seen all that massive, massive activity. And right below it, you have a 5.9 and a 5.5. You can see staying busy over here, but relatively quiet overall. And yet, we do have confirmation of some new ash emissions at White Island Volcano. This was a real sad one. This is where some tourists had gotten too close to this volcano and it had erupted and literally claimed lives. So you got to take this seriously when you're in this area. Again, this is in New Zealand, aviation color code orange. Yeah, always take it seriously. And then I think a lot more people are taking seriously the drones or whatever is going on that's grounding flights. Here you go in Brussels. All flights grounded after a drone sighting. Now, again, we have this fear of alien invasion in some people. We have fear of World War III in other people. We have the curiosity of what's really going on with all the UAPs, UFOs. I got used to UAP as a term for some reason, even though I was definitely brought up in the age of UFOs. Language will change generationally, and there's terms that my mom would use when I was a kid growing up that's just not used now. You could see how when people were reporting back in, biblical times and using term Elohim, it's again something that they had a clear understanding what they were talking about. When we're talking about the gods of mythology, it's not like they thought they were the creator of the universe. They never thought that.
No, no, no.
No, and again, things get so distorted throughout time. But here you go. Belgian air traffic control has said all flights grounded after the sighting of a drone. No flights currently landing or taking off. And this is in multiple airports. It's been crazy with all that activity. And at the same time, here we go. Russia's open to sending hypersonic missiles to Venezuela, weapons capable of carrying a nuclear warhead at speeds that could not be stopped, according to, again, this is just according to what the news tells us. Everybody has their own opinion on what weapons are available and what could be used and what couldn't be used. Yeah, here you go. Venezuela, it wouldn't be that far to Florida, it wouldn't be that far to Louisiana either, really, when you're looking at something that could travel that fast. These Oreshnik missiles, which are impossible to intercept, they say, they could carry conventional weapons and also nuclear weapons. So, Venezuela's getting hotter. It's just feels like a crazy man's you know, mission to set the world on fire, just looking to start these world wars that nobody wants. China backs Venezuela. Trump hints Maduro's end is near as tensions escalate. It's again the news systems. They're just propaganda systems. We all understand that now. When you talk about Gaddafi and what happened to him and the glee that came out of HRC, then you look after the fact and you realize that people had a relatively good quality of life compared to some places, and they had things like free healthcare, and I believe I saw where the government actually paid for like housing for newlyweds there. I mean, crazy stuff that no other governments do. But we understand it's often about which countries are in the fold of the Rothschilds banking empire, again, or the Khazarian mob, if we want to go back in time a little bit, and which ones aren't. It's interesting how a lot of the prophecies, especially Catholic prophecies, talk about Russia as the hope of the world. Casey said something like that, if my memory doesn't fail me. Of course, I'm 60 now, so it might fail me.
Our memory is different. Yep.
It is different, and Christoph is different. He's also in his 60s. And this is again the world famous psychic Christoph Tchaikovsky. I didn't realize that he had predicted the 2008 banking collapse. He says this one is much trickier. It's going to start in the US. Um, it is going to be two or three pillar financial institutions. Like we're talking top probably, 20 um, corporations that are going to have problems, maybe go belly up, and that's going to cause a ripple effect. But there's so much depending on this. And I get from Christoph more confirmation to what I feel. It's like they're having a hard time pulling all this off. It feels like they just can't quite get things started because our consciousness is expanding too quickly.
I certainly hope that's the case. I certainly hope that there is um, a frequency position to all of this, and that the frequency is not allowing things to change. At the same time, I understand in my own life, for things to change, things have to get messy sometimes first, and it can be hurtful and painful to you and other people, but then things come around and they find a better order after the mess. So I don't know. I'm on the fence a little bit, I guess.
But the other thing that Christoph sees is three conflicts that lead to the World War. And one of them is obviously Ukraine, it's been ongoing. And the next one is going to be probably the trigger or a co-trigger, and that's Iran, Israel. He sees again another attack on Iran happening um, with bigger consequences, and a third conflict, which he has not named. But I have to wonder: is he seeing Venezuela? Um, and is that also there is another prophecy, and I don't remember who said it. That was that you'll see the same sort of thing. Multiple places where it's going to spring up that are kind of usual. Again, the European front, the Middle Eastern front, and then one that is unusual and different, and that would suit the bill. Caribbean front. There would be reasons why they'd want to have a Caribbean front. There would also be reasons why Trump would obviously not want them to have Oreshniks staged in Venezuela that could strike us over our border very quickly. So yeah, it does seem to be all right there. Will it happen? I think we have a lot of say in that, even though, of course, we're not ordering any troops to fire anything or to stand down, soldier. You could say that all day long and they're not going to listen to you. But you put your frequency out there, you keep awakening others as best you can, and it could have an impact.
I think that's the best course of action.
MTG is making her rounds. She says she no longer believes in Q, but she does believe that aliens are demons. She moved on from that a long time ago. She admits that she was misled by what she read on social media, calling herself a victim of online manipulation. In the past, she has praised Q as a patriot and with inside connections to highest levels of government. So, yeah, there's something going on there. It if you want my honest opinion, I feel it's completely staged. I really do. I feel all this is kind of completely staged.
I think it is too. It's just too convenient that the information's out there. And if it's a secret, then how could it be out there? And where is it coming from if it's a secret? And how could it be such big news? Because mainstream, I mean, if it's approved by mainstream, the information is going to be popular, it's going to be out there. And I always question that.
Tom Brady says that his dog is a clone. Seriously. And he's serious. Six-time Super Bowl winning quarterback and current Fox Sports broadcaster said Tuesday in a statement from a company that he is an investor in that his dog Junie is a clone of his late dog Lua. Literally. He made the announcement on the same day. That Colossal Biosciences, a venture capital backed biotech startup, made an acquisition of another animal cloning firm, Viagen Pets and Equine. Colossal, which aims to fix extinction among other goals, is said to be valued at $10 billion. And it's a major acquisition. I love my animals. They mean the world to me. Yeah, we understand that totally. Um, and so, they took a simple blood draw and they made a clone of the dog that he loved so he could have it again. This group and others have also said that they could end up bringing back to us things like dire wolves and, maybe woolly mammoths and who knows, maybe even some dinosaurs.
I think we have dire wolves dressed up as Dobermans.
Ha. Well, it's all relative in size. These guys are like 100, 105 pounds. Speaking of, ball games there, I don't think this is a good idea. I really just don't.
I think it encourages a weird kind of game where you could miss a lot and then God help the person who has to fix the miss.
Yeah, the person that's cleaning the bathroom is saying, don't take a three-pointer.
Right?
Yeah, don't miss. But again, that cloning thing, I think that it's, again, getting us used to the concept. There will be admission at some point in time. They'll let you know whether there was 6 or 7 Biden clones, HRCs. It's gonna all come out.
It sure will.
It is. It's coming out right now. And if we're looking close, the tall whites. This is Charles Hall, stationed at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. Yeah, he talks all about working with the tall whites. Their hearing is like a cat's hearing. No, their hearing is like a dog's hearing or better. Their sight is like cat sight or better. They can make sounds and communicate to each other in a pitch that's above our ears' capability of hearing. So they could talk to each other, and of course, psychic communication is the norm out there for most beings.
And they also have quite the personality and they're very
They could be flamboyant.
very dramatic and very colorful. That's what I like to call it. Very colorful and they like what they like and that's all I gotta say.
You might say they're kind of drama queens. They have the potential to be.
Sure, for sure. Absolutely.
That's something else that's coming. The revelations that yes, you very likely might have walked past NET at some point in time. Meanwhile, the Vatican's newly appointed chief astronomer, Father Richard de Souza, was asked if he baptized space aliens, and he responded, "Oh yeah, yeah. Theology would have to be reimagined, but yeah, after that we could baptize the aliens. Sure, why not?" Well, again, it originated with aliens. That's the big revelation. When we think about the Council in Nicaea in 325 AD, the reality was, again, a lot of this direction was actually Greys who were being directed by reptilians and those we would call the Anunnaki.
There's so much there when it comes to the Vatican. Of course, they would just rewrite the rules again and make it okay.
Because they communicate with non terrestrials all the time at the highest levels. That's where they get their orders from.
All right, they already have it planned out.
This person's a true believer. What a nice Halloween setup that is. That's just fun. Beam me up. Well, oh no, they're going to beam up a cow.
Oh my God, I love it. That's fabulous. That's great.
Isn't it? It's just awesome. Oh, this was one that you liked. Da-da-da. There you go. A playful orb. After years of strange activity in his barn, this homeowner's ring cam finally captured something unexplainable, a glowing orb shooting across the dark.
It does look like the orbs that I've seen, the way it travels. It's cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've seen tons of orbs, gotten tons of photos. A lot of people have. That's the thing. I would venture to say most people have seen orbs at some point in time.
For sure. I think it's a matter of your sight and what you believe because they're always there, but do you want to see them? Can you see them? Or, you know, it, some people's higher selves won't allow them to see them, but they're everywhere.
How about this? This is, he's talking, this is Vegas Star. Only those who fly in their dreams can know that indescribable feeling, weightless freedom, the pure remembrance of who we truly are. How long has it been since you dreamed you could fly? For me, it's most nights, at least somewhat. And it's taking control and recognizing that you can. And this is part of what you know, you try to lucidly control your dreaming. That's a big part of developing your ability to astral project and to also experience alternative states. There are other things out there, that can do this as well. But it's really easy with time as you practice meditation to get yourself into different states where you can know for your own self, for your own satisfaction, that you're certainly not just this body. The body is just a vehicle. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, gosh, yeah. I mean, this is also part of why I feel that the earth is what it is, because I've had many times when I've been up and out there just going way out and then looking back and the earth is smaller, getting smaller behind me, and then coming back to it. So yeah, again, everything that we see in this multiverse is a projection, apparently from a two-dimensional reality. So in that sense, everything is kind of flat. But when you're inside it, yeah, it's a sphere, just like the orb that we just saw. This is that as above, so below, as within, so without. Under a microscope, you look at different cells and they might look flat, but they're not really flat. They're just looking flat from your perspective. And again, we get caught up with, the big argument of is it flat or is it round when we should be talking more about, other things besides just arguing about flatness or roundness.
I would think so, but I think some people get angry that, I mean, we have been lied to about a lot of things, so they're more hung up on that. They want to know the truth, but at the same time, I think it's wise to choose your battles. Is that something that is going to get get you anywhere in life to argue that?
No, no, absolutely not. And so, again, sometimes we have to agree to disagree and, look for the things that draw us together instead of divide us.
And you got to think who does it benefit? If you argue and fuss about it, it definitely benefits someone of a higher I don't want to say order, but somebody with a lot of money.
Somebody that's in the control system. Yeah. And that's where they plant people to foment that problem and that conflict. And I think a lot of them are AI bots, and other people are just people simply on the control payroll in one way or another. So, as always, guys, we look forward to your comments. Please do make sure that you are subscribed and hit the thumbs up button as something just rumbled again. Well, yeah. C'est la vie. It was fun to be in the Ridgecrest quake. That was fun. We were camping like not far out of it, and it felt like there was four Bigfoot that were trying to knock over our camper. It was wild, but hey, we're still here, and it was a interesting, fun experience. And yeah, I think it's something that we have to take our frame of mind and realize there's going to be some tests, trials, and tribulations, but we're going to go on. And that's the reality. Even if it's not in the physical body that we occupy in right now, our consciousness is eternal. And we thank you guys for your love and support.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.